When people can't be honest, they are a prisoner to their lies. You know what I mean? They have to continue to keep up the lie. They have to hide the truth and cover their tracks and make sure that, the truth won't be found out, and they have to live with that on their conscience. So being honest is like a beautiful freedom that you can move through your life knowing that no matter what happens, no matter how people take your truth, at least you were truthful. And at least, what else can you do? What else can you do when you're truthful? There are no games trying to figure out how to keep your lie together. You just speak what's in your heart, say what's, on your mind, or be honest about whatever situations are going on, and it is what it is. People have to accept that. So we have to get out of the mentality of not being completely honest or, telling lies in order to either pacify people or to make them more comfortable. That's a lot of responsibility. It's not our place to accommodate everybody around us. You have to live in your truth, and you have to speak from your heart, and you have to respect the people around you enough to give them the information that will help them see what the reality truly is. Have you ever been told such a good lie and you just believed it 100% and you're just living your life based off of a lie someone told you, and then you find the truth out and it changes everything? You feel hurt and you feel like, am I that stupid? Like, am I that off base with being able to read people? Or I don't know, it just really messes people up. And maliciously lying to someone is, I think, one of the greater sins. Lying to people should be taken more seriously. We have to start loving each other enough to say, you know what, you deserve to have clarity and understanding. You deserve to know what's really going on. I think that's a really huge way to show your respect for someone, is to tell them the truth. There are times when you just have to look at a situation, and instead of saying, well, it's so-and-so's fault and this and this and this, everybody else is wrong, not me though. I have to come in and say, what am I doing? What can I do better? How am I participating in this? How am I contributing to this? And when you can honestly break down your habits and behaviors and identify the things that you need to work on, only then can you start healing and growing and being a better version of yourself. Ooh, it's it's hard to be honest with yourself when you have to recognize the fact that you're in the wrong, or that you have an issue, or the problem is you. That's difficult. It takes a lot of humility and a lot of strength to be able to admit that to yourself. I think that holding a space of compassion in your heart can really facilitate the ability for people to be more honest. It's difficult to be honest when you know that people are going to either rub it in your face or, make you feel bad about it or judge you or whatever the case may be. Like, if people can't tell you their truth without feeling safe, then they're not going to tell you the truth. So as much as we have a responsibility to ourselves, to be honest with ourselves, we have a responsibility to handle other people's truths respectfully and maturely. Because we know that everyone makes mistakes, and everyone, does things that, afterwards they're like, man, you know what? I am so sorry. I didn't realize, or I didn't understand, or, you know, now that it's happened, I see the damage I've done. You have to be able to accept that, no matter how angry it makes you or how hurt. The fact that someone came to you with the truth, that's where we start healing. That's where we start building and growing trust. And that's when we kind of like drop all the fakeness and can start really being real with people. And yeah, so we have to be more kind in allowing people to speak their truth. It just feels so much better to tell the truth. You know, it really does. You stop creating so much confusion in the world. You know, how hurtful is it when people tell lies on others? You know, telling lies on other people, spreading rumors, creating false information. Lying is just this very immature quality to possess. It means that you have no regard for other people. You have no regard for yourself. If you've ever lied, then you know that every time you create a lie, you create some sort of guilt or some kind of hidden aspect. It's way better to live in your truth and be honest, and with no burden of like worrying about keeping a lie. You know what I mean? You have to tend to that lie. You have to care for it. You have to make sure that it stays maintained. It's so unfair when people lie maliciously, like in terms of like being manipulative or being controlling or being secretive. Those types of lies are so damaging on so many different levels. Not only is it damaging psychologically because you're damaging that person's ability to trust other people moving forward, but also the information that you're giving them that's not true, they're building on that. If you lie to someone and you're just not upfront with the information, and then they start making decisions based off of that lie, or they start, you know, doing things based off of that lie, now they're building something on this fake foundation. And then when the truth happens, everything they built on that lie crumbles. And, you know, you really screw people up and you really hurt people, and it's really damaging. And I think it's so far from love. It's so disrespectful. It's so, I don't know. It's not love. It's definitely not love. I do recognize that sometimes people tell lies to protect others. And, you know, there's a lot of different intentions and a lot of different reasons why lies happen. But I don't think there's really much of an excuse. I feel like at this point in my life, as an adult person in this life, lies are just like, let's stop it. I don't understand what we have to do to recognize the importance of honesty. Everybody can get together and say, oh, you know, we don't like being lied to, and, you know, we don't like liars, and people need to be honest. It's very easy to do that, but everybody needs to do this and work on ourselves, because the only way to stop lies is to stop lying. You know what I'm saying? The only way the world is gonna stop lying is if you stop lying. Stop telling lies. The quote, "Be the change you want to see in the world," you know, that Michael Jackson song, "Man in the Mirror," it's like, listen, like, they're telling such a basic truth, such a pure truth. The only way we can change anything is if we change it in ourselves. because we can't control other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, make yourself responsible. Not only is it frustrating, but it's impossible to like police everybody else and try to fact check and keep everybody else in order. You can't do that. Forget about that. Start holding yourself accountable. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. And it's such a simple concept. Such a simple concept. We've put men on the moon. We're trying to colonize Mars. You know, we're doing all these like really huge, amazing things, but we still haven't conquered the basic aspect of stop lying. Stop lying to each other. I don't want to have any kind of future with a bunch of liars. You know, if we're going to build a better future doesn't mean to build cooler technology or, you know, to have like all this stuff. That doesn't matter if the culture of our integrity doesn't change and the culture of our ability to love and respect each other. You know, all that physical stuff means nothing if we're not advancing our hearts, if we're not advancing our emotional intelligence. What good is a future with a bunch of awesome technology if people are still hurtful toward one another, if we're not able to have compassion and understanding and love for everyone? Like, what good is a future? It's just what we're going through right now with cooler stuff. And we need to get our priorities in order. We can still have all these really cool, amazing inventions and technology and like growth. That's cool, but don't let it take away from the real work that needs to be done, and that's within ourselves. If we can look through history and see that, you know, oh, these terrible things that happened way back then are still happening now, that is the red flag that, oh, you know, we're not doing something to fix it. We're not. And you can always say that it's human nature. No. It is part of the human experience. I will agree with that. It's part of the human experience. But it's not our truth. It's not what a human really is. People are good. People are so good. When you can be honest, it's something to be treasured. It means that people can rely on you because they know that you'll always give it to them straight. You know what I mean? You gotta give it to people straight. And if they can't accept that, then that's something that they have to deal with. You know, that's something that they need to work on in themselves. But all you have to focus on is telling your truth, you know? So yeah, you know, you just gotta sit with yourself for a while, figure yourself out, and if there are things that you have to lie about in your life, if there are people that you have to kind of maintain a lie in order to, you know, keep them around or keep them satisfied or to be perceived a certain way, that's something to address. That's something to really look into and work on for yourself. And we all have to do it. We really do. It's just one of those things that we have to learn, and it's a beautiful lesson. You know, and it's not about crucifying all the people who are telling lies. No, it's about you being honest with yourself. And when you see other people lying, you recognize that they have a lot of work to do, and you just kind of keep those people at a distance and you don't allow them to come into your life with those lies. You know, build your life around people who are honest and truthful and, you know, have those trusting relationships. And then when you see people who you don't feel like their energy is pure, their intentions are pure, and they can be upfront with you, you just learn to avoid it and to not make it part of your life. At the end of the day, it always comes back to love. Love is the answer for everything. And when you have self-love and self-respect, you're honest with yourself. And when you can be honest with yourself, it's much easier to be honest with other people. So tell the truth. Tell the truth, be your truth, speak your truth. Don't force it down other people's throats, okay? And just make sure that every time you speak words of truth and you're being honest in your intentions. If you can do that with other people, they will be more comfortable doing that with you. And what you're doing is you're building the courage. When people see you speaking your truth and being honest, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what we're doing now, you know? It becomes popular. That's what happens, isn't it? Like somebody starts something and then other people see, and you know, maybe people are hesitant for a minute, you know, it doesn't catch on for a while, but then eventually like it will start spreading. I don't know. I mean, we could just make honesty cool. That's just the way, hey, that's the way I roll, man. I roll with honesty. So if you're not an honest person, hey, I love you, but like I can't roll with that. And keep it moving. Like people will respect that. People will always respect you for being honest, whether they realize it or not. I don't know. I think instead of doing things like, you know, the ice bucket challenge or like, you know, silly things that we do, it's for fun. And of course those things are always nice because it's important to have that lightness and, you know, things that make people smile and have a good time. That's always important. But I think what's most important is like, why not have an honesty challenge? I challenge you to be honest. Tell the truth for the rest of your life. Let's make that like a hashtag, right? Like, can we do that? People are so less interested in that because it's not fun. It's work. It's work. It's a lot of internal work, and not everybody's up for that challenge. Not everybody has cultivated the strength and the maturity and the wisdom to do something so important as you know, self-work and self-healing. But I don't think that's a reason to be content with dishonesty. Everybody wants to see the world change, but nobody wants to change. It's hard to watch. It's hard to see. It's hard to see how much better we could be if we only put in that little bit of effort internally to make everything on the outside like reflect that goodness. But you know, it is what it is, and it's up to you. It's literally up to you. You know, if you want to live in an honest world, you just have to be honest. As within, so without. Same old song and dance, right? As within, so without. Yeah, we get it. Do you? Do we? To hear it and to say, yeah, okay, I could agree with that. Sure, that's one thing, but it's another thing to say, wow, okay, that's the blueprint. That's the blueprint for it all. If I want to change the world, I have to be what I want to see. A good way to look at it is like this. We're not changing the world, right? We are just withdrawing our participation in what is wrong with the world. And if everyone withdraws their participation in what is wrong with the world, then those things disappear. Those things stop happening. And I don't think I can make it any simpler than that. So when people continue to lie to themselves and create these false ideas in order to preserve what they're doing, we can't get anywhere. So, what did we learn today? Be honest with yourself and be honest with other people. Right, kids? Don't tell lies. Speak your truth. You deserve the truth. You deserve the truth. You are worthy of the truth. Any questions?